Good morning, class 10 students. I welcome you all on this online platform provided by Jagrati Classes. We were doing chapter 10th of class 10, that is light, reflection and refraction. So I have given you an introduction in the previous video that what do you understand by the term light, then what do you understand by the phenomenon of reflection. So reflection, if I revise back, it was the bouncing back of light into the same medium. Whenever a light comes from a medium and it strikes with the smooth polished surface, the smooth polished surface means the mirror. So whenever a beam of light coming from any medium, it strikes with the mirror. This is your smooth polished surface, which is known as mirror. So whenever the beam of light which comes, it is known as incident ray. Then when it strikes with the mirror, it bounces back into the same medium. And this ray is known as the reflected ray. This one is your incident ray. Okay, and on the common point which you have between the incident and the reflected ray, you can draw an imaginary line which is therefore perpendicular to the surface of mirror. So this perpendicular ray is called normal ray. So this all we have discussed. Then you have an angle, angle I, and here you have the other angle, that is angle R, angle of incidence and angle of reflection. So we discussed the definitions. I gave you the theoretical note about all these, okay? So this was a recap of previous class. Then we discussed the laws of reflection. So you have two laws of reflection. You have to learn them, of course. So now we'll be starting about mirrors. In the previous video lecture, I told you what do you mean by the plane mirror. And then we had image formation by the plane mirror, and this image which is formed, it had four properties which I explained you in detail. So what are the four properties of the image which is formed by a plane mirror? For this, I gave you 4 points. Among that, the point first and the fourth point which we discussed, that size of the object is equal to the size of image always, and shape of the object is equal to the shape of image. The first and fourth point which I have written yesterday, so what you can do it, you can include both of them in a single point. You can write size and shape of the object is always equal to size and shape of the image formed whenever you are talking about plane mirror. Okay, the example for plane mirror is what? The dressing mirrors which we have in our homes. So you can include, so what would be the 4 points? Because image formation by the plane mirror shows 4 properties. And if I include both these in a single point, the next would be what? Distance of object, which is distance of object from the mirror. Like I discussed, I took the object to be the candle here, and the image of the candle was formed. Now the distance, this is your object, and this is the mirror in between. This is the image formed. So we discussed what is object distance, distance of object from the mirror. So if this distance is 5 centimeter, so the image which would be formed, it would also be 5 centimeter away from the mirror surface. So we said that distance of object is equal to the distance of image. Then the third point which we discussed, the first one is size and shape. The next is distance of object is equal to the distance of mirror. Then we discussed that the image formed is laterally inverted. So I explained you what do you mean by the term lateral inversion, and this property of lateral inversion is known as laterally inverted image. That is when the left appears right and right appears left. And the fourth property or the fourth point, because we have merged our first and fourth point, that is size and shape. So the fourth property exactly here is the image formed is always virtual and erect. Okay, so you have to learn these 4 properties of the image formed by plane mirror. I know these 2 terms in front of you are quite new. So we'll be discussing how many types of image can you have. That is, we'll be discussing the meaning of the terms virtual, erect. Okay, so we'll be discussing this in the further sections. Now firstly, this completes the first kind of mirror, that is I divided mirror was any smooth polished surface. You have 2 categories of mirror. The first one was plane mirror, and the next I told you was spherical mirror. I already discussed what do you understand by spherical and plane mirrors. Plane mirrors we have completed. Now we'll be moving on to the spherical mirrors in this class. So I told you you have, what do you mean by spherical mirror? The definition we have already discussed. The next is what? Next we are going to discuss the types of spherical mirror. So let's see. We are focusing on or discussing a new topic which is types of spherical mirror. So for this, you have two kinds of spherical mirrors with you. One mirror is concave and the other one is convex. Okay? So there are two kinds of spherical mirror, concave and convex. So you have two types. The first is concave and the next one is convex mirror. So now in the two types, as the name suggests, both of these are spherical. If we deal with the shape, that how a concave mirror looks like, so you have this kind of mirror and the reflecting surface of the mirror is inside, okay? Outside you can represent that this is the non-reflecting part. Considering a mirror, you will have one portion to be the reflecting part from where the reflection of light would occur, and the backside part would be the non-reflecting part, which we have polished, okay? We have covered it with paint or some sort of plating or a paint, and then this back portion of the mirror is not able to do reflection. So in a mirror you have two general parts, okay? One, like this you have a mirror and we represent with a line, sort of lines, then this represents the non-reflecting part. And this part, okay, the front part, it represents the reflecting part. And on the shape of this reflecting part, we classify the mirror into two categories, that is concave and convex. When the reflecting part is in the shape of a cave, you can say, okay, then you have a concave mirror. See, you can make these mirrors by curving your hands, by curving the fingers and the palm. This mirror, if the reflecting surface is curved inwards, so it is concave. So for the definition we have mirror whose reflecting surface is curved inwards. So such mirrors whose reflecting surface is curved inwards, it is called concave, and the convex is just opposite, that is the mirrors in which the reflecting surface is curved outwards. This is the reflecting surface. So in the similar manner as we wrote the definition for concave, you can have the definition of convex. Mirror whose reflecting surface is curved outwards. So such mirrors are known as convex mirrors. Okay, so this is the basic difference. How can you remember? See, concave means a cave-like structure. When you fold your hand, the cave-like structure which you get is for concave mirror, and the convex mirror is the outer portion. Okay, so in this way you can remember the concave mirror which has an inner reflecting surface and convex mirror which has an outer reflecting surface. So the mirror whose reflecting surface is curved inwards, it is concave, and the mirror whose reflecting surface is curved outwards, such mirrors are known as convex mirrors. Now you can have a look in front of you. I have two kinds of mirror, concave and convex mirror. So in the concave mirror, you can see that the reflecting surface is here. The black line which is being shown, this shows the reflecting surface. And because we know mirrors would have, if I take a general mirror, then both of these surfaces which would act as reflecting. So this is also a reflecting surface, and the inverse is also a reflecting surface. But if I tell you, I have to make this mirror to work as a concave mirror, so what should I do? If this is the portion which I took from a big spherical mirror, I told you what is a spherical mirror, okay? The mirror in the form of a complete sphere. And if you cut this mirror, so you get this portion of mirror which will act as a spherical mirror. And this, when I got this portion, then both of the surface initially were reflecting. Now I want to make this mirror as a concave mirror. So I need only the inner surface to be the reflecting surface, but the outer surface should now become non-reflecting. And to make the outer surface non-reflecting, what I do is, I draw here, or I make a coating of any material like silver coating, or I protect it by paint. So whenever you apply any kind of coating or any kind of paint, then this reflecting surface converts to the non-reflecting surface. And whenever you have a single reflecting surface, if the reflecting surface is present inside or inwards, then you call it to be concave mirror. And if the reflecting surface is present outside, you can see here you have a convex mirror, and in the convex mirror, you coat it with the paint or silver at the inner side, okay? And towards the outer side, you have the reflection to be taking place. And hence, where the reflection takes place, you can call this side to be the reflecting surface. So these are the two kinds of mirror which we have with us, concave and convex mirror. I hope you understood both these types of mirrors. Now we have a difference between both the two types of mirror, the concave mirror and the convex mirror. You can see how we represent or how we draw these mirrors, okay? This representation I already discussed with you. So the first point is what? Okay, first we have the convex mirror and then we have concave mirror. So the first point in convex mirror is a spherical mirror. You know, mirrors can be of two kinds, plane and spherical. Both concave and convex are an example of spherical mirror, whose reflecting surface is away from the center, or you can just write whose reflecting surface of the convex mirror is curved outwards. Okay, so instead of this point, you can write the simple point, that is, in convex mirror, the reflecting surface is curved outwards. As you can see, this is the outer reflecting surface, ORS, outer reflecting surface. And this definition I'll be discussing again with you when I'll discuss what do you mean by the center of curvature and everything. So it is written that convex mirror is a spherical mirror whose reflecting surface is away from the center of sphere of which the mirror is a part. It should be not a part, it should be a part. And here concave mirror is a spherical mirror again whose reflecting surface is towards the center of sphere. Okay, if we discuss this point just now, then you know that you have a sphere here. This is what? This is a hollow sphere which is made up of glass. And if I cut this sphere from between, if I cut it down, I obtain two kinds of semicircles or hemispheres. So now if I coat a paint or silver coating on the outer surface of this, that is B part, and on the A part which I obtained, I coat it from the inner surface. So now because I have coated the inner surface, reflecting surface is outwards. So this mirror is an example of convex mirror. I hope you are understanding. And this mirror, my B mirror, it works as a concave mirror. Why it is a concave mirror? Because see, I coated the reflecting surface on the outside. So now the outer surface is not reflecting, that is, it is non-reflecting, and the inner surface is the reflecting surface. And when the inner surface of a spherical mirror is reflecting, you call it to be a concave mirror. So this mirror is a concave mirror and mirror A is a convex mirror. So now what I do is, you know, where is the center of sphere originally located? In this sphere, this middle portion represents the center of the sphere. So now when I cut this sphere into two different parts, then the center would be located in the same position. That is, the center would be at the same original position. This is your center C. Now you can see distance of this center from the mirror is less as compared to distance of this center from the outer reflecting surface. This distance would be slightly larger than if I say this distance to be R1 and this distance to be R2. You see that here you have the reflecting surface to the inside. And mirror, yes, we are drawing it in a line diagram, but originally the mirror would have certain thickness. Okay, it would have certain thickness, but we are expressing the mirror in a kind of line diagram. So if you measure the distance of center from the inner reflecting surface, it would be somewhat smaller than the distance of center from the outer reflecting surface. So here you have R2 is greater than R1, and R2 is the distance for convex mirror. So we say that in convex mirror, reflecting surface is away from the center, that the reflecting surface is moving away from the center, while in concave mirror, the reflecting surface is towards the center. See, I'll again explain you. This is, if I take this kind of mirror, this is my concave mirror. And if I complete the sphere, okay, this is the remaining part of the sphere. So the center would be in front of the mirror. That is, the inner portion is the concave mirror and the center is towards the front of the mirror. But the center is the same here. And if I'm taking a convex mirror, so in a convex mirror, the center is away from the mirror. So these are the difference. Okay, let's draw the convex mirror in the same form. This would be my convex mirror. So see, the reflecting surface of convex mirror is towards the back side, whereas the center is towards the inside or towards the front side. So this is the difference. Now the second point is, here the focus lies behind the mirror, where here the focus lies in front of the mirror. We'll be discussing what do you mean by focus. Important term here is, convex mirror is known as diverging mirror. This is very important. Whereas concave is known as converging mirror. So we'll be discussing what do you mean by the terms diverging and converging. Shape we have already discussed. Convex mirrors always formed. It is given the property of image formed by convex mirror, that is real, inverted and diminished. Whereas concave mirror forms different types of image which depends on the position of object. So let's first discuss. You should remember that both these mirrors are spherical mirrors. Convex mirrors, reflecting surface is curved outwards, whereas in concave mirror, the reflecting surface is curved inwards. Then you should remember that these are away from the center and it faces the center. You should remember their diagrammatic representation, this point, and now I'll be showing you what do you mean by diverging and converging. So we are drawing the two kinds of mirror. Firstly, I have drawn here a concave mirror, okay? And if I have drawn a concave mirror, I have to polish or I have to coat the outer side. So this would be the correct representation of concave mirror. And for concave mirror, what you have is, firstly we'll discuss what do you mean by the terms converging and diverging. So concave mirror is known as converging mirror and convex mirror is known as diverging mirror. Okay? Now let's see, you have a concave mirror. If I keep an object, this is my object, and if the light rays come from the object, these are the light rays coming from the object. So what happens is, after reflection, these light rays, they appear to meet at one single point. These were the light rays coming from the object, and after reflection, they appear to meet at a point. This point is known as focus, and it is represented by the letter capital F. So converging means when light rays which comes from the object, this arrow represents the object, and these are the light rays. So light rays, when it comes from the object, after reflection from the mirror, they meet at a point, and such kind of mirror are known as converging mirror. So the term converging means when light rays coming from any object get reflected from the mirror. So these light rays, they strike the mirror, they get reflected from the mirror and meet at a single point. And you can write and after reflection. And after reflection, they meet at a single point. This point is known as focus. And hence such mirrors are known as converging mirror, which focus or which converge all the light rays on a single point. Whereas diverging means what? Diverging mirrors, when the light rays which are coming from the object, they get reflected and after reflection. So I am writing when the light rays after reflection, before everything is same, okay? So when the light rays after reflection from the mirror, they appear to meet at a point. So such mirrors are known as diverging mirrors. The important term here is they appear to meet. What does this mean? That is the light rays do not actually meet. In actual situations, they are not meeting at a single common point. They are just appearing to meet at that point, okay? So convex mirrors are known as diverging mirrors. And what do you mean by the term diverging? I have written it here. Now let's explain the term diverging with an example. So this you have a convex mirror. This is a convex mirror. You place an object in front of the convex mirror. Now the light rays which come from the object, these light rays when they reflect from the mirror, they get scattered. Okay? So they are getting spread away, they are scattering. But what we do is, because we need to know the position of image, so what we do, we extend these light rays backwards. And when you extend these light rays backwards, then they appear to meet at a common point, and this point is again known as focus or principal focus point. So this is, what do you understand by the term diverging? See, the rays which are coming from the object getting reflected after reflection, they are getting scattered, they are dispersing. But when we extend these rays backwards, then they appear to meet, because they are actually not meeting anywhere, they are getting scattered. But if we extend them back, then they appear to meet at a common point which is called focus. So this is the meaning of the terms converging and diverging. Now we'll be discussing some important terms related to the mirror. Important terms related to mirror. And here we'll be discussing both concave and convex mirror. The terms are same for both. So the first term here which we need to discuss is pole. This pole is represented by the letter P. What do you mean by the term pole? See, you have a concave mirror and a convex mirror. This is a concave mirror and this is a convex mirror. I hope now this is clear. Because the reflecting surface is inwards, it is concave. And this, when the reflecting surface is outwards, it is convex. So in concave mirror, if I take the midpoint of this mirror, then this midpoint is called as pole. Okay? So the middle point on the mirror, this point pole is present on the mirror. All these terms are imaginary, okay, not realistic actually. But if I take the middle point on this mirror, then this point is known as pole. So what would be the definition of pole? It is a point present at the center of mirror. It is present at the center of the mirror, and it is present within the mirror. Okay, both the terms are important, within, or you can write on the mirror itself. So what is pole? Pole is the middle point or the center point which is present on the mirror itself. In simple terms you can define pole. Okay, so this P point, which is the center point of the mirror and it is present on the mirror itself, it is known as pole. Now the second definition is, you have to know, okay, second we'll be dealing with center of curvature. So what do you mean by center of curvature? Center of curvature is denoted by the term or the alphabet capital C. Center of curvature is what? See, I again take both these mirrors. Okay, now this is a concave mirror. If I complete, we are talking about spherical mirrors. In spherical mirrors, they are a part of sphere. So if I complete the sphere of which this mirror is a part of, then this sphere would have a center C. So this center, that is the center of sphere of which the mirror is a part. So this center is called center of curvature. If you complete in a similar manner, see, this you have a convex mirror. If I complete, I know it is a spherical mirror, that means it is a portion of sphere. If I complete the remaining sphere, then this sphere would have a center, and this center is known as the center of curvature of mirror. So center of curvature C can be defined as, it is actually the center of the sphere of which the mirror is a part of. So center of curvature is that point of the mirror. That is, it is the center of sphere of the, it is the center of sphere. Okay, center of curvature means if you complete the sphere, then every sphere will have a center, and that center is only known as center of curvature for the mirror. I hope all the basic definitions are well clear. So the third would be, what do you mean by the term radius of curvature? Radius of curvature is denoted by small r. Radius you all know. If I draw a line joining the center and the mirror, so this line which joins the center of curvature of the mirror to the pole, this P point on the middle is pole. So this line would be called the radius of concave mirror. And for convex mirror, what you have? The line joining the center to the pole of the mirror would be the radius. So radius of curvature, it can be defined as, it is the length, or you can say it is the distance of pole, or it is the distance of center of curvature from the pole. It is the distance of center of curvature from the pole of the mirror, and it is denoted by small r. Next you have a definition. The fourth definition is of principal axis. So what do you mean by principal axis? Axis means it is a line, it is a straight line. So let's first explain to you. Principal axis is an axis. It is a straight line which joins the pole and the center of curvature. So principal axis would be the straight imaginary line which is joining the center of curvature with the pole. And for the convex mirror also, this would be the principal axis which joins the pole and the center of curvature. So for the definition, principal axis, it is an imaginary straight line which joins, which passes through, you can write which passes through the center of curvature C and the pole P. So this straight line which is passing through the point center of curvature and pole, it is an imaginary line, a straight line, and such line is called principal axis. Now the fifth would be principal focus. It is denoted by capital F. So principal focus, I discussed with you converging and diverging. Then I told you all the light rays, when they get reflected, they meet at a point, and this point is known as focus, and this is what you have, principal focus. Here also you can see the rays actually do not meet when the mirror is convex or diverging, but they appear to meet at a point, and this point is known as principal focus. So this would be the diagram for principal focus. I'll not draw it again, okay? And the definition would be, it is a point situated on, it is a point which is situated on the principal axis and at this point all the light rays, all the reflected light rays, and at this point all the reflected light rays, you can write meet or appear to meet. So this gives you a definition of principal focus. Principal focus is denoted by the term capital F or the symbol capital F, and it is a point which is situated on the principal axis. Let's see in the diagram. This axis, this imaginary axis which is passing through the pole, let's suppose here you have the center. So this axis which is joining the center and pole, this is called principal axis. So this would be the principal axis. And on the principal axis you have this point which is known as focus. So focus in this also, this one would be the principal axis, and on the principal axis you have a point which is called principal focus. So what is focus? It is a point which is present on the principal axis, and at this point all the rays actually meet or they appear to meet. So this point is called as the principal focus of the mirror, and the same definition I have written it here. It is a point which is situated on the principal axis. So this is important, that it is situated on the principal axis, and at this point all the reflected light rays, that is the light rays coming from the mirror after reflection. So here all the reflected light rays, they can actually meet or they appear to meet, in both the cases converging and diverging. So these are some of the definitions. I hope you understood what is the pole, center of curvature, radius of curvature. Then we discussed principal axis, principal focus. Now you can have many more definitions. Not many more, some definitions are left. So this would be, I think, the sixth definition, which is focal length. Now focal length is represented by the letter small f. So let's draw a mirror here. Let's draw the principal axis. This is the pole, the center or the middle point on the mirror. Then let's suppose this is F, focus, and this is the center C. So this is the arrangement, a general arrangement of the center, focus and pole on the principal axis. Okay, so this is the principal axis, what we have with us. Then what? Then I showed you focal length. So what is focal length? Focal length is the distance of focus from the pole of the mirror. So this distance is known as focal length, and it is denoted by small f. So focal length is length of focus. Length of focus means distance of focus from the pole. Every distance, whatever we measure it from the pole, because we assume that this pole is present at the origin point of our Cartesian plane. If I consider a Cartesian plane that is x minus x and y minus y, then we assume that the pole is present at the origin, that is at 0, 0. So hence we measure all the distance from this pole. So focal length can be defined as it is the distance of principal focus from the pole of the mirror. So this distance is known as focal length. It is denoted by a small f. The next definition would be aperture of the mirror. What do you mean by aperture? Let's suppose I have a mirror here, and actually aperture tells you the size of the mirror. Okay, and by definition, this aperture is equal to the diameter of the mirror or diameter of the sphere of which the mirror is a part of. So aperture is what? If I label that this is A and this is B prime. So this AB or A prime, B prime, you can also call it to be A dash, B dash. This size represents the aperture here. So aperture is what? Aperture, it is the size of the mirror. In simple terms, if you need to know the concept, then you can call the aperture to be the size of the mirror. Like this is the aperture of one mirror. The next mirror, if I label the aperture to be XY. So we know that aperture A dash, B dash is greater than aperture XY. In simple terms, this mirror is smaller, this mirror is larger or greater. It is clearly visible. So the size of the mirror is known as aperture. So aperture, it is the size of the mirror. And for writing the definition according to examination point of view, you will define aperture that it is equal to the diameter, it is equal to the diameter of the sphere of which the mirror is a part of. So this is the meaning of the term aperture. And with this we have discussed all the important terms regarding the mirror. So I hope it is clear. What do you mean by the term pole? So pole is the center point on the mirror. Then you have center of curvature. This is your mirror. If you draw the complete sphere, then the center of this sphere would be the center of curvature. Then the distance between center and pole is called the radius of curvature. Then principal axis is the imaginary line which passes through the pole, focus, center, everything. All these points, that is the center of curvature, principal focus, all lie on a straight imaginary line, and this straight line is called the principal axis. Then the next is principal focus. So principal focus is not an imaginary point. It is the point which is present firstly on the principal axis, and the next important thing is on this principal focus all the reflected light rays, they meet or they appear to meet. Then next is focal length. Focal length is the distance of principal focus from the pole. Aperture, aperture tells you about the size of mirror. Aperture is equal to the diameter of the sphere. That is, if I complete the sphere here and if I measure the diameter of the sphere, then this diameter d would be equal to the value of aperture of the mirror, that is xy. So here d would be equal to the aperture xy. So these are the important terms related to mirror, and now we'll be discussing, okay, I'll just make a diagram of the mirror, and we should know the definition or the position of various points. So this is a mirror. In front of you, the straight line, it is known as principal axis. This straight line is known as principal axis. Then on the principal axis, the middle portion of this mirror, This point is known as the pole. Okay, if we are talking about concave mirror, so this is a concave mirror. The middle point of this mirror is pole. The straight line which is passing it is called principal axis. Then if I complete the sphere, then I would get a point C, that would be the center of curvature. So here C is what? Center of curvature of mirror. And then next you have a point where all the light rays would meet. And this point generally comes between the center and the pole. So this point is known as principal focus. And the distance of focus from the pole, this distance is called as small f, which is focal length. So this is the general representation of all the terms for concave mirror. In the similar manner, you can draw all these for the convex mirror. Okay, radius is what? The distance of center. Radius is the distance of center from the pole of the mirror. So this is known as radius of curvature. So I hope all the terms are clear enough for the concave mirror. In a similar manner you can have for convex mirror. That is, for convex mirror, this would be the principal axis. Okay, then here for center you would have the center of the mirror. Then you would have the focus. The distance of center from the pole would be radius. The distance of focus from here, it would be the focal length. This point would be the pole of the mirror. In this way you have the diagrams of concave and convex mirror. I hope these are clear. So now in the next class we'll be discussing, this was whole account of theoretical account of concave convex mirror, and the best example to demonstrate is the spoon. Okay, if you see the inner portion of the spoon, it behaves as the concave mirror, and if you see the outer portion of the spoon, it behaves as the convex mirror. So the best example which demonstrate both concave and convex mirror is the spoon itself. You can see, if you see the inner portion of the spoon by which we eat, then it behaves as concave mirror, whereas the outer portion of the spoon behaves as convex mirror. So now in the next class we'll be discussing some rules that how we can form the image, and then that is the rules to form the image, and then we'll be discussing a very important topic of the chapter, ray diagrams. Ray diagrams means when you are given that the position of any object, then you have to make the light rays, and then you have to demonstrate where the image would be formed, what would be the size of image, what would be the nature of image. And before this, firstly in the next class we'll be discussing the rules of image formation. Then we'll be discussing some types of image, that is, what do you mean by the terms real, inverted, virtual and erect. So after discussing the rules and these four important terms, we'll be moving on to the ray diagrams. Ray diagrams means the diagrams which represent formation of image by concave mirror. So you have to study 6 ray diagrams for concave mirror, and then for convex you just have to study 2 diagrams. So a total of 8 ray diagrams are important. Many a times these are asked in examinations. Okay, almost every time you have a question about ray diagrams, and then you will get short questions related to the definitions which we discussed. So this chapter is very important. With the discussion of ray diagrams, this would complete the topic of reflection, and then we'll switch over to the next topic, which is refraction of light. Okay, before this you have to study about lenses also. So firstly we'll complete mirror, then we'll be completing lenses, and then we'll moving on to refraction of light. So thank you for joining today's class. Please do revise all the concept, learn the definitions, they are really very easy. And if you learn it, then you'll find the chapter interesting when we'll do it further. So thank you for joining today's class. Stay home, stay safe.